into racing. Look at Keith Kaufman go to the bottom side, and Fred Raymer now racing for third, takes away the third spot. Skip Jackson still running in that second position.
Jackson closing the gap on race leader Paul McMahon, completing lap number 7.
Paul McMahon, Skip Jackson, Keith Kaufman, Fred Raymer, Dennis Moore Jr., Casey Kane, Ricky Logan.
Down across the start-finish line, the advantage for Paul McMahon, just 0.3 of a second over Skip Jackson. Keith Kaufman right there in third.
Jackson now closing on the bottom side of the racetrack, up behind Paul McMahon. As McMahon shows the United Express line U2 car right through turn number 2. Jackson running second, Keith Kaufman third, Fred Raymer fourth.
One mile remaining in the B main this afternoon. Paul McMahon and Skip Jackson looking to transfer onto the feature event. Keith Kaufman wants something to say about that, but he's going to have to close the distance just a little more.
White flags out this time by Doug Clark, shows the big white. Paul McMahon, final time around the speedway. Skip Jackson still trying to make his last lap effort. Now pulls up on the bumper of Paul McMahon down the back chute.
Keith Kaufman, the door may have opened for the veteran out of Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. Down to the inside of the speedway, off of corner number 4. Who's it going to be at the checkered flag?
Paul McMahon, Skip Jackson, Keith Kaufman, Fred Raymer, Dennis Moore Jr., Casey Kane.
1T Randy Hannigan, 1 Sammy Swindell and Rothreed, and 5M Mark Kinzer, 17 Joey Saldana, 1Z Jeff Shepard, 12H Greg Hodnett, 22 Jack Audenschild, 1BK Johnny Herrera, 104 plus Jeff Swindell, 5 Terry McCarl, 70 Calvin Landis, 7K Brooke Tatnell, 3M Mike Goodman, 18H Phil Gressman, 16C Cal Hurdson, 5J Jeff Matrician, U2 Paul McMahon, and the 55 of Skip Jackson.
Frankie Kerr bringing him off turn 4 to the wide line, getting set to go green. 20 laps, we're green.
Craig Delansky with a jump from the outside of the front row takes over the top spot. PJ Chesson trying to work the high side of the speedway for third. Can't do it. Lance Blevins up into the spot.
Joey Saldana now moving up into the 5th spot as Randy Hannigan and Sammy Swindell in tow. Off turn 4, PJ Chesson working on Blevins through the turn.
The Wild Child way up high in the radioactive car, losing a lot of ground off of corner number 2.
Battling for position is now Lance Blevins, starts to close on Frankie Kerr. Meanwhile, Hodenschild still working the high side of the speedway.
Craig Delansky in the Polydome number 7, out in front, 2 laps completing to a 1.4 second advantage over Frankie Kerr.
Craig Delansky, Frankie Kerr, Lance Blevins, Chesson, Joey Saldana, Randy Hannigan, Sammy Swindell, and Mark Kinzer.
Drivers trying to settle into the groove now, find the fastest way around the speedway. Lance Blevins to the inside of the Schiff Motorsports 23S, took a look but couldn't make the pass on Frankie Kerr.
Your race leader coming off turn 4, Craig Delansky working the Polydome car number 7 down the front chute. Frankie Kerr still running second, Lance Blevins third. Chesson running 4th, Joey Saldana 5th. Randy Hannigan, Sammy Swindell, Mark Kinzer, and Greg Hodnett.
Jeff Shepard completing the top 10 as Craig Delansky now about to start looking at some lap traffic.
Craig Delansky works off turn 2 as Blevins still challenging. Frankie Kerr for second as now Kerr gets a pretty decent run down the back chute. Blevins reeling him in one more time, both cars to the bottom side of the speedway. Blevins peeks to the bottom side, banging wheels down the front chute. Now Chesson up to challenge.
A little bit of contact as they exited turn number 4 between Frankie Kerr and Lance Blevins, and Craig Delansky way out in front of the field in the Polydome number 7.
Craig Delansky working the bottom side of the speedway. Your race leader, as we said, working traffic now through turn 2. Frankie Kerr running in that second spot. Lance Blevins still challenging in third.
See some tire smoke off the Polydome number 7 of Craig Delansky as he comes off of turn number 4. Have to keep your eyes on that. He's way out in front of the field, but he could be using up that big right rear a little too early in the feature as we've got 8 laps down.
Hazing the tires down the back straightaway is Craig Delansky. Well over a straightaway advantage over second place Frankie Kerr. Lance Blevins still challenging in that third spot. PJ Chesson running 4th in that car number 76, also smoking the tires.
Coming up on the halfway point, this time by Delansky. Last time across the stripe, a 3.9-second advantage. A big lead for the driver out of Elk River, Minnesota. He looks at the crossed flags halfway home.
Craig Delansky seems to have the car figured out, working traffic through turns 3 and 4. Delansky on the bottom side of the speedway, still working that big right rear tire very hard as you see the smoke rolling off through the turn. Second place, Frankie Kerr now entering into turn number 2, as Lance Blevins still running in the third spot in the PCJoey.com, car number 21.
Delansky still extending his lead. Last time by was up to 4.2 seconds.
Lance Blevins again trying to reel in Frankie Kerr off turn 4, down the front straightaway. Frankie Kerr brings him into turn number 1, still running in that second spot. Blevins running third, PJ Chesson running fourth and closing quickly in that car number 76. Then it's back to Joey Saldana. Oh, and Chesson gets out of shape as they go into turn 3.
Chesson way up on the high side of the speedway, lost a couple of spots there in the Automotive Tire and Service Center 76, a little bit off the pace.
Chesson falling back a few spots as that moves Joey Saldana up into the 4th spot. Hannigan 5th, Swindell 6th, Chesson 7th, Mark Kinzer 8th, 9th, Greg Hodnett, and 10th, Jeff Shepard.
Johnny Herrera just made an inside move to take a spot away from Terry McCarl in the jackpot junction number 5. 5 laps remaining now, 4 laps to go for your race leader, Craig Delansky in the Polydome number 7.
Delansky now going into turn number 2. Second, Frankie Kerr now entering turn 2 as Blevins still running third. Joey Saldana back a few car lengths in the 4th spot. Your leader coming off turn 4, Craig Delansky.
Delansky works his way off of turn number 2, enjoying that big lead and trying to conserve those tires. Just 3 laps remaining in this Pennzoil World of Outlaws feature event here at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
Lance Blevins unable to make anything happen around Frankie Kerr as Kerr is still hanging on to that second spot. Racing down the back straightaway, Blevins running third. Joey Saldana driving the Balderson Dodge 17. White flag, Craig Delansky.
Half a mile to go for victory lane, and Craig Delansky in the Polydome number 7 checked out on the rest of the field. Blevins thought about trying to go around the outside of Frankie Kerr, thinks better of it down the back straightaway.
Off turn 4, the big checkers will wave this time by. Put your hands together, Craig Delansky. Frankie Kerr coming home second. Lance Blevins third, Joey Saldana, Randy Hannigan, Sammy Swindell, Mark Kinzer, PJ Chesson, Greg Hodnett, Jeff Shepard, Johnny Herrera, Terry McCarl, Jeff Swindell, Calvin Landis, Brooke Tatnell, Paul McMahon, Hertzen, Hodenschild.
He made it look easy today. We'll see what happens the rest of the weekend. Elk Rivers, Minnesota's Craig Delansky. Craig, real quick, we got to get out of here as quickly as we can to get this track ready for tonight, but pretty much smooth sailing from the word go.
I tell you what, I mean, thank God the weekend's been going good for us so far, and you know, we'll just keep working hard at it, and this Maxim car is working flawlessly, and this Kreiner motor's, you know, running awesome, and my crew's doing a great job, and, you know, I got to thank all the people behind me, and you know, I'm just happy to be here.
Talk a little bit about your crew and about your style of driving. This track, definitely a dry, slick track today, but you just kind of stuck it on the bottom and a little feathering around the track. Really didn't have a lot of motor into it, did you?
I'll tell you what, the guys preparing the track here are the best in the country. I mean, they do a great job, and on a day show, it's, you know, it's inevitable it'll probably end up like this, and you know, I mean, it's not really the way anybody wants to see it, but I mean, everybody kind of had the same thing to work with, and you know, hopefully they can get a little better shape here for tonight, so I think the fans will see a good show.
As far as the car, everything looked okay, motor held up good. As far as the race goes, you got some racing to do tonight.
Yeah, we do. Looking forward to it.
All right, Craig, congratulations again, ladies and gentlemen. What is technically known as the first night of qualifying, except for this time it's on the 3rd day. Your feature winner for the Amoco Knoxville Nationals qualifying feature, 1999. He's looking good so far, Craig Delansky.